Welcome back to another GeekaWhat video, and today I'm taking you over truly the best $550 Kaby Lake gaming PC build for 2017. So let's kick this build off with benchmarks and what kind of performance you can expect, and then let's move on to the parts I've chosen. At 1080p, you're looking definitely medium to high settings whilst achieving well over 60 FPS, and even the latest AAA titles. We're talking Battlefield 1, Overwatch, Star Wars Battlefront, GTA 5 and The Witcher 3. Step it down to slightly older, more popular titles such as CSGO, World of Warcraft, League of Legends, you're looking at well over 100 FPS and in some cases ultra settings. So let's kick it off with the CPU. For the CPU I chose Intel's Core i3-7300. It's one of their new i3 chips, and whilst it is only a dual core, it actually features hyper-threading, which means it's seen by games as a quad core. It actually has an incredibly fast clock speed of 4 GHz out of the box, and whilst the chip isn't overclockable, 4 GHz is plenty fast enough. This super fast single threaded performance will mean older games and a lot of the newer games that don't fully utilise at more than one core will perform brilliantly on this CPU, something the high-end Broadwell chips with their lower clock speed and higher core count tend to struggle with slightly. Overall, a really solid CPU with support for all of the latest AAA titles. In terms of the motherboard, I went for a cheap and cheerful option. It's Gigabyte's GA-X150M-PLUS WS board. Now this board actually has a bit of a bare bones I/O, so you look at that rear I/O, all you've really got is USB 3, USB 2, HD audio and keyboard and mouse connections, and that's basically because all your display connections are just going to plug straight into your graphics card. You really don't need any more than this board. The design is pretty nice, looks very reliable, it has support for plenty of Sata 3 6 gigabit per second connections, and crucially has 2 RAM DIMMs and a PCIe 3.0 x16 slot to support that graphics card that we've gone for. In terms of the RAM, all you need is 8 GB of DDR4. Crucial's Ballistix Sport LT ticks all the boxes. It's cheap, looks quite nice with a decent heat spreader, and performs well at 133 MHz or 2400 MHz speed. Overall, a really solid DIMM of RAM. The reason I went for one DIMM is because there'd be no real performance advantage of using dual channel since we're not using an APU, and it also allows you to add another 8 GB DIMM in later on down the line to get 16 GB of total RAM. Really nice upgrade options all around. In terms of storage, I went for Western Digital's Caviar Blue. It's a 1TB 7200 RPM hard drive, and whilst it certainly isn't as fast as an SSD, it's easily half the price. 1TB is more than enough for your movies, music, your massive Steam library, games, that kind of thing, and is much better than the 500 GB you'd typically find in a PS4 or Xbox One. Overall, a solid hard drive, and you can certainly add an SSD in for much increased speed later on if you wish. In terms of graphics card, this is the major upgrade over the $500 build that I uploaded the day before yesterday. Now this is an RX 470, which is an incredibly capable card. I reviewed Asus's RX 470 on the channel a little while back, as did I with XFX. Overall, the RX 470 is an incredibly solid card, and this MSI gaming card is no exception. It ties in quite nicely with kind of an overall colour scheme for this build and performs very well with a 2-fan design, something that's quite important to keep the GPU nice and cool and allow for a little bit of overclocking headroom. To house this killer PC, you want a case that not only looks nice, has good airflow options and USB 3. Thermaltake's Versa H15 ticks all the boxes. It's got a side panel window, it's good value, and has USB 3 on the front panel. It supports the smaller Micro ATX motherboard that we've gone for, which will save unnecessary space and help it fit snugly and easily under a desk or next to your monitor, for example, in your living room, gaming room, bedroom, that kind of thing. It ticks all the boxes and has support for a full-size ATX power supply. Talking of full-size ATX power supplies, EVGA's 500W 80+ unit is the perfect choice. I wanted to go for at least 500 watts given that we're using an RX 470. It's not exactly a power-hungry card, however I did want something with enough headroom and allow for upgradability. This 80+ certified unit guarantees efficiency of over 80% at all times, which will not only save you money on your electricity bills, but also help to increase the longevity of your components. The power supply could technically wipe out your entire system if it wanted to, so you want to work with something reputable, hence why I went with an EVGA one here. And that wraps it up. One more thing I would recommend if you want a PC that is a bit cooler running and also a little bit quieter would be an aftermarket CPU cooler. Cooler Master's Hyper 212 Evo literally has thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews everywhere, and for around $30 is a superb option. I own about 3 of these coolers myself and have used them frequently. You can actually get some good overclocking performance with many CPUs, although that won't be the case here, but I'll drop a link to that, as with everything for US, UK and international regions on Amazon for an ease of use, in the description below. If you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like rating and do subscribe. Follow my Twitter at GeekaWhat, and as always, we'll see you in the next GeekaWhat video.